So, how was your Memorial Days? Good? Anyone do anything exceptionally fun or exciting for their Memorial Day?
You like scamper around trying to put stuff away before the storm dumped on us?
No, it's something more fun than that.
Okay.
No working, that was really exceptional.
No working, yeah, a nice day off is always appreciated, for sure.
Graduation party for my son, that was different.
Very nice. Very nice. We did something yesterday that was a first for my family. They were doing a kids CrossFit over at the gym at noon that was combined with, they kind of just split the gym in half so the adults could do their CrossFit training class, and then they had a kids CrossFit. And so I was like, let's bring all the kids. I brought all my teenager all the way down to my 6-year-old. And we went over to CrossFit, and we go in there, and I usually do dread going to CrossFit, typically, because the workouts are never that much fun. But we got there, and my wife looks up at the board, and she's like, that's not for us, right? What was written down for the workout of the day, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, if it is, we need to leave. So the workout, it was named in honor of a Navy SEAL veteran who was killed over in Afghanistan. His name was Murph. And the routine was, you start out with a mile run, then you came back and you did 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats, and then you finish it with another mile run, and you do it for time. And the kids just did they did all the same exercises, just scaled down a bit. And I'll tell you what, that was an hour of not fun. So, yeah, that was an interesting workout. Anyway, but my kids, surprisingly, loved it. So, and it's kind of a funny thing. For some reason, I actually very much enjoyed having all my kids there working out as a family. I was like, that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do that with your kids, and the fact that they enjoyed it. My daughter actually texted me this morning and said, she's like, I can't move my arms. She's like, my arms hurt so bad that I can't move them. So I was joking with her. I was like, well, that's good. That means you did it right. She's like, I know it hurts, but she was glad and not glad at the same time. She was like, at least I did something that was, a good thing. So, anyways, that's how we started the day, and then I felt like I was dragging tail the whole rest of the day trying to catch up, but it was fun. So there's a few new faces here. Welcome to everyone who's new for the first time. I'll kind of explain. These classes are designed to help us all just start to learn the habits that we need to learn to be able to not only get healthy but stay there. While the program is incredibly simple and easy to follow, it still takes effort, it still takes commitment, and it takes learning certain new things, new ways of doing things to be able to maintain it, no matter how we go about losing weight. So our goal is, if we're gonna go to that much effort to really dial ourselves in and become a better person and a healthier person, let's make sure we stay there so we don't have to do it again. We just kind of keep the ball rolling and continue to improve our health. So that's kind of the goal that we have with these classes. We are on week 10, so we're coming towards the end of all of our 12-week program. Don't worry that you didn't catch the first 9 to be able to understand this. All of these are kind of separate little chunks. They're all important. You'll understand this just fine. Just stick with us, and we'll loop all the way through again, and you'll pick everything up. So, again, thank you for coming out. The last few weeks, there's a handful of different. Obviously, there's a handful of many different habits that we can learn. We got to learn how to eat better. We got to learn how to control stress. We have to learn how to sleep. We have to learn how to manage our energy in and our energy out. We have to learn how to move more. Learn how to actually, after we get more active, Learn how to maybe start doing more planned exercise, things where we can build good lean muscle. These are all little things that we want to introduce. Part of the scary part of losing weight is, I mean, if you think about it, how many of us in here have tried other programs to lose weight? Okay, pretty much everybody. How many of you have tried programs, had some success, and then had seen that success go away? Okay, how many people have read numerous books on different types of diets, different types of programs, and feel like you understand a lot as far as how to lose weight, but still find it incredibly difficult, or have had difficulty losing weight on your own? Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of what we're up against. There is a tremendous amount of information out there as far as how, one person says, oh, this is how I lost weight. Another person says, oh, it's your body type. You have to, depending on what your blood type is or whatever, you have to eat more meat or more carbs or more, and so there's all these different things that we look at. Unfortunately, if you look at a lot of these programs, I just saw one a few weeks back that said, eat whatever you want and lose weight. I mean, it was a diet that they're like, you can eat whatever you want. You can still eat your pizza, your pasta, and you'll lose weight. You just, and their whole premise was starting, eating more regularly, which is great. But if you really kind of dive down into it, a lot of the programs out there are designed for people who are saying, here's my lifestyle. I want to lose weight, but I don't want to change anything with my lifestyle. So how do I fit something to me? How do I take a program? I like eating meat. So, the Atkins program, where you eat, 12 pounds of meat a day. And
I had a friend who was like the guru of all diets. She had every single book. And what she would do is she would take what she liked out of this diet that worked, it was comfortable, and out of this diet, and out of this diet, but then she couldn't understand why nothing worked. Because she just wanted to pick and choose, which I would love to do too.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we just can't do that. It doesn't work.
Well, and that's exactly, all of what I'm talking about leads us into tonight's topic. And tonight's topic is we're going to be talking about support and how important support is in trying to do this, because there's a lot of good programs out there. There's a lot of diets that are very sound and very balanced. They take a tremendous amount of effort. They take a lot of planning. They're very good. I mean, there's other ways to do it. Our whole goal is all of these different things that are important, they are important, but they're important at different times and different phases of weight loss. Exercise is very important for us to be healthy. But to start with exercise in our weight loss is the wrong order. It's like learning to walk before you run. Okay, we need to get down to a certain spot, a certain healthy point before we really ramp up our exercise. We need to give our body time to learn how, teach ourselves how to eat correctly so we can be able to support ourselves as we do start exercising. So there's a time and a place for all of these different things, and our goal with these lessons is to help you put all that together, to really simplify it, to help you not be frustrated so the whole process isn't just a frustrating, going nowhere process. We want to make sure you continually see progress, and through that progress, see how you can take it to the next level each time. So, but tonight, when we talk about support, really the support is what we call the cornerstone, or that keystone. You've seen arches in, over in Europe and stuff. And at the very top of the arch, they have what's called the keystone. It's kind of a wedge-shaped stone that they drop in there that holds the whole rest of that arch together is that one little stone. It's the most important part of that arch. And the support is just that. If you think about support as, that's the structure that you're building upon, if you don't have a good foundation, all the primary songs, the wise man built his house on the rock and the other one on the sand. Yeah, it's like if you don't have a good foundation, even though you might be doing all the right things, at some point you crumble and fall. That's why, you can lose weight on a diet, but 85% of the people that do that, because they don't do it correctly, they don't have the right support or foundation, everything topples down. So tonight we're going to talk about support and talk about how that really plays a huge part in our ultimate success. Having a support system around you, how to understand how to build that support system around you, and really the importance of your health coach in helping you get to your goals. So part of this also is, as we're mastering these habits of health, there's kind of a process. As we go through this, understanding we always need to know where we are right now. Because if we don't know where we are, it's really hard to get to where we want to be. And it's, so what we're trying to do is if this is where I am, what are the steps I need to take from here to where my next goal is? So we will frequently, as we're going through this process, you'll hear us talk about what is your current reality, where are you now, where do you want to go? Because that's part of setting up the right structure. As we study, it's important to learn. Again, I've worked with a lot of people, I've worked with a whole lot of people that are far more knowledgeable with weight loss, with the metabolic processes in our body, the cellular processes of weight loss. They've read every program under the sun and know them really well. But you know what? They still are not successful with weight loss. They don't listen when I try and walk them through the program. They won't listen because they already know it. In fact, at one of our trainings, I heard it said the biggest enemy to learning is knowing. When we think we know everything, we can't be taught. We can't be helped because I already know it. So I'll tell you right now that anyone can lose weight on our program, and with what we're talking about, if you will allow yourself to be taught. If you will allow yourself to kind of turn that trust over to a coach and someone to help you along the way. As we go through any kind of growth in our life, whether, if you look at athletes, I always refer to athletes because it's something that everyone understands. When you look at athletes, even the most elite athletes with tremendous talent, tremendous physical ability, they always have coaches and trainers to help them go to the next level. In baseball, you have coaches that teach you how to bat. You have batting coaches. You have pitching coaches. You have coaches for every aspect, running coaches, to build your speed. There are lifting coaches, you name it. For everything that you do, there's a different coach that will see and correct your form to help you just get this much better than the next person. Because if you think about the Olympics, a lot of those races, one of the last Olympics, there was hundredths of a second difference between some of those swimming races. And some of them, 1/100th of a second. We're talking this much difference is all it took to go from silver to gold. Less than 1/4 of an inch tapping that wall. So when it comes to getting better and becoming the best at what you want to do, coaches will see things that we don't see. Even the people that are very knowledgeable, like I said, those individuals that know everything to do, but what happens is we get these blinders on where we think we know everything, but we're not seeing the whole picture. And when you can allow someone else to help point those things out and point you in the right direction, what happens is we start moving forward. We start seeing the progress that we want to see. So studying is important. Coming to these classes is fantastic. It's a wonderful way to surround yourself with people who are trying to do what you're doing and to learn the little things that it takes to be successful long term. But at some point, you got to do. You got to do the do. You got to actually put things put the actions into place and start doing things. And then ultimately is modeling what we want to do. The reason to health, when we look at mentors or people that we look up to them because they're doing something that we haven't done. And so the best way to be successful is follow someone that's already doing something that's working. So if we continually just kind of work towards following individuals who are successful, working with that support system, we will start to find the same success. Really, there's no difference between them and us, just they've learned a few things, they're a few steps ahead of us. Let's just start doing the same things they are doing so we can have the same success they are having. Right here, and honestly, this, actually, I do want to ask a couple questions. Tony, how helpful was it for you to have Brian, or Brian's your health coach. When Brian, as you were going through the program, you did it with Brenda as well. How was that for you, knowing, like looking to Brian, just looking to see how he had done things?
And actually, Gail Gardner's my health coach.
Oh, that's right.
Brian's my.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Just knowing that there was somebody who had already done this and had answers for me made all the difference in the world. That I could be tripped up on something, I could call him and he would make it. It's like just turn the light on for me. Made it so much easier.
I'll tell you right now, when we first started, Brian, I did the program. I had success. Loved it. I was surprised, very surprised at how well it worked. I started, Brian said, okay, here's what you need to do next for your patients. And I was like, okay. And I did it. Brian came in and he was teaching the classes. And he did the first couple classes. And I was like, well, I can do this. I can teach these. This isn't that hard. And honestly, I was sitting there thinking I could probably even teach it better, because I understood this stuff well. But what was interesting is through the whole process, things would come up, but I always knew that I could just holler at Brian at any moment, and he's been there. I do understand a lot more as far as physiologically speaking than Brian in a lot of areas of what we're talking about. But you know what? He's helped many more people. He's helped hundreds of more people than I have. Because, you don't have to know everything to be a great health coach. Because people don't follow the knowledge necessary. They follow someone who's a leader, who's someone that they can trust, that's been where they want to be. And so that's kind of what we're talking about with how important that support is. And a lot of that does come to trust. You kind of have to. It's a little bit of blind faith, a little bit of just, okay, well, I trust that you can help me. You've helped others. I've seen other people's success. But ultimately, I think our own success is a huge inspiration for other people. As we see, one of the things that we know, they've done a lot of studies on this, is as people get more unhealthy, the people around them will get more unhealthy. But the opposite is true. As people get healthy, there's the incidence of success in going that same direction increases quite a bit. So there's a reason why the AAA, not AAA, Alcoholics Anonymous, double A, AAA is the wrong thing. Wrong. That's for your car. They are successful, but for a different reason. But it's because. And then actually, if you compare Alcoholics Anonymous with what we're talking about here today as far as getting healthy, the reason that works is it's very much the same as far as this support goes. Someone who has been successful becomes a mentor and a sponsor for someone who is trying to be successful. Because again, and it doesn't matter what they do for a living, none of that matters. What matters is there is an understanding between those two people. One person has mastered and become sober and clean, and the other person wants to be like them. And that is their inspiration, is this person that they can, kind of look. Oh, am I bumping? Oh, I think I'm bumping things. Someone that they can model after, someone that they can follow. Again, this is fairly simple as far as what we're talking about. But if you think, really, I want you to think about how often have you said, I can do this, I can do it by myself? Be honest. When we talk about the program, I know I do. I still catch myself sometimes going, I know what to do. I know how to do this. And then, I'm like, but wait, why am I not going anywhere? Okay, I think that's something, if we're really honest with ourselves, we will see a lot. We do that quite frequently, is we're just like, you know what, and there is, like I said, there is a point where you do have to do it, but you should always remember that you have someone to follow and to lean on for your support and your success. So just always remember how important that is to kind of keep you going. And not only that, is how much your success will affect the people who are around you, your family, your children, your spouse, your friends. Because as you are getting healthy, people, I promise you right now, people are watching you. Unfortunately, some of them are watching you because they're like, oh, I hope she's not successful just because then I'm the only one not successful. You know what I mean? That happens. And it's not because they're being mean, it's just because they are the only ones they don't want to be the only ones left out. So just know that. And actually, one of the habits of health, in fact, right down here where we say paying it forward, when you help teach people the things that you are learning, when you share your successes with your friends and family, it increases not only your likelihood of success reaching to your, getting to your goal, but it actually increases your success rate at actually maintaining your weight. Because who in here has ever taught lessons or taught classes or had to teach something at work? Probably most of us at some point have had to do that. And typically, and I know that I find this for myself, isn't it the teacher usually gets most out of the lesson than the people that you're actually sharing it with? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's typically what I see is when I prepare myself for a presentation, a lesson, a class, I feel like I get much more out of it than, I think we probably shortchange ourselves. I think a lot of people get a lot from what we share, but I think I always feel like I get more out of it than I'm actually able to convey. Because like I've said before, there's a lot of times things in my head that I'm thinking I'm going to say, in my head it sounds really good, but when I actually say it, I'm like, man, that did not come out good at all. Not even close to how good it sounded in my head. So, and also, as we do that, we're going to get better. Part of getting healthy is just like anything else. The more mistakes you make, as long as you keep trying, what matters is you keep trying. Matter of fact, I was listening to, just this last weekend, I was listening to a lecture, and so often, again, I talked about at the beginning, how many times we've tried and failed. Okay, we've tried to get help, we've tried exercise routines, we've tried many different diets. We've tried things by ourselves. We've tried things with coaches. We've done a lot of different things. And every time we fail, we say, I'm going to try again. And it's like we try and recommit ourselves, and then we fail. And we try again, and we fail. And there comes a point when you failed a bunch of times when you're like, why try? Why should I even try? This is who I am. This is, and I promise you, over the years treating patients, I've treated hundreds of patients that are just like, I've tried, and there's no sense in trying because this is where I'm always at. Even if I lose weight, this is where I end up back. Okay? But what happens is, if you think about it, that's an all or nothing mentality. We're saying, if I can't make it all the way to my goal, I may as well not try at all. And the whole goal with what we're trying to do is, we're just trying to get a little bit better all the time. The day we stop trying is the day we lose. It's just the fact that I used to love patients that said, I'm always on a perpetual diet. I'm always trying something. And I was always like, you know what, bless your heart, because I know it's hard. I know it's tough to do that, but you're trying and you're not giving up because that's what matters. And when it comes to, again, the support system, you put yourself around people who, more often, and this is one of the things I found most helpful, and I hear most often from from clients, is, your coach believes in you more than you believe in you. Your coach knows you can do it because your coach has been there. Your coach is, they might even be on their journey still. But when you see people that are succeeding and you see people, moving forward and growing, you want to do the same, and it basically is, you just understand that they've been there. They know, they have a lot more faith in you than you do yourself. So that's kind of where you really got to just trust. You got to just follow them and say, all right, you've been where I'm not. So take me to where you are. It's kind of, that's a hard thing for adults to do, is give up that power to just say, all right, help me. It's a hard thing to just say, I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you're going to take me to the right place. But ultimately, that's what we want to do. So if you think about it also, again, we always like to try to do things by ourselves. I can do it, think about your kids as they start getting more independent. I can do it. I don't need your help, Mom. I can do this. You know, it's part of the independence that we have as people. So just understand, even though we think we can do it just fine on our own, we can always do more as a group. I would say maybe the only exception to being able to do more in a group might be when you have young children and you're trying to do chores or something with them. That might be the only exception to the rule where you'll get more done with more people. But at the same token, it's still a learning experience. But really, we always can do more together. The power comes when you have more people, that energy, that synergy. So just keep that in mind. Your friends, your family, the more people around us who are healthy, the easier it's going to be to make healthy choices. So put yourself in those put yourself in the scenario that's going to lead you to success. And then again, the paying it forward, that really is tremendous. Being able to just, if you're on the program and you're working towards your goal, man, recruit people to do it with you. Get people, because if you have people doing it with you, it's just like going to the gym. It's way easier to go to the gym if you know someone is going there with you than if you're going by yourself. Because when you're going by yourself, there's 800 other things that could very easily step in front of it and say, oh, I'd rather do that. So keep in mind, bring your friends in, do it with you. Invite people. Tell them, honestly, I think, in my opinion, if just say, I need your help. Guilt trip them into it. Because they need it as much as you do. So just tell them, hey, I need your help. You need to do this with me. Come to the classes with me. All of these different things are, wonderful ways for you to succeed. So anyways, this was actually, that's really pretty much it. Brenda, do you have anything do you have any examples that you can think of specifically of people who have kind of, when we were talking about people saying, I don't think I can do it, but you believing in them, and then all of a sudden you see that kind of transferring to them?
Well, when you were asking Tony about our experience with our health coach, the thing that keeps coming to my mind is how confident he was that the program would work, whether I believed it or not. And I've seen that as I've coached people as well, that, I can tell they walked the same path that I did, that I didn't believe anything would work, and I just had to accept that. But now, it doesn't matter if somebody needs to lose 5 pounds or 200 pounds. I don't blink an eye because I've seen it happen for both if they just work the
and
plan.
not just once or twice.
No, and so it's so fun to have that kind of confidence, to be able to just layer that for people, and like you said, to believe for them until they can believe for themselves. So, and there are, let me think, if you ask somebody else something, or if somebody else asks a question, I'll see if I can think about an example, because every one of my clients is an example of that, I think.
Have any of you in here had specific personal experiences with your health coach up till now where you were maybe a little bit disbelieving, or you just followed their example, just did what they said, and before you knew it, you were seeing the success that they were telling you about?
Tony was my coach, and we had a function like on day 2 of the plan with a group of our friends. And my husband knew that I was on plan, but I didn't want anyone else to know because I was so afraid of failing. And then going, oh, there's Christy again, trying something else. So I wanted it to be like a secret. That's kind of how I was trying to buffer myself. And it didn't last very long, because then it wasn't too long. People were like, what are you eating? And what is that? And then I'm like, well, and then I kind of started talking about it. And they're like, oh, that's really cool. I've heard about that. And then I'm kind of like, oh. So it's like, and then of course, as the scale started moving in the downward direction, then I began to feel more confident that what I was doing was going to work. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I can do this. This is going to be my time now, and I'm not going to have all these bumps in the road. And not that, every week wasn't awesome, but I kept keep it on. So.
Well, I think that's fantastic, because even after you're seeing success, and even when you reach a goal, it doesn't mean you don't still love food a lot.
Oh, right.
Because I love food a lot. Yesterday,
Right.
Any excuse I can come up with to make like chips and salsa or barbecue or something, I'm on it.
Yeah.
But again, making better choices all the time is what it's about, is just learning how to do it. But I mean, that's a great point. And right at the beginning, you were saying, I didn't want to tell anybody. You were trying to do it on your own.
Right.
You weren't asking for their support. You weren't so that's kind of what I'm talking about. That is our human nature, to be like, we just kind of want to hide and then step out of the closet and say, here I am, I did it.
Yeah.
That's what we all want to do. But unfortunately, none of us can hide out in the closet for 8,
No,
6
it didn't
months,
even last
5
2
months,
days
whatever.
Before. Yeah, I think I was on day 3 and I was telling people what I was doing. 'Cause, yeah, it is. It's one of those things. And then the next week, that person that saw me said, hey, how you doing? So then you kind of have I got just more accountability besides your coach.
Yeah.
Just more, accountability of other people.
And you know what else is, the day you start on the program, or when you're on the program, you might go to the grocery store 800 times, but the day you start the program, or the first week, you're going to walk in and they're going to be like, oh, here, do you want some warm cookies from the bakery? I know, because it happened to me. Exactly that way. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've never come here and you've offered me a warm cookie. And I'm on the program like 2 days and you're offering, yes, I want the cookie, but no.
I never noticed how many commercials there are for food.
Yes.
Yeah, or recipes on Facebook. I'm like, really? For really bad stuff?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to block you all.
Yeah. And then you'll start noticing teeth marks around the edge of your television. Yeah. I understand that. Tony, you had another comment?
Oh, just a side comment on Chrissy that might add some extra encouragement too. That she just pressed on week after week. It took her, I think, was it Chrissy, 6 weeks to lose her first 10 pounds?
Yes.
She
That's
had
really
nurses
good.
and worked graveyard a lot, and so it was just 1.5 pounds for 2 weeks. But she just was very diligent and ended up losing 40 pounds. And that's the rest of the story. But I just wanted to add that extra encouragement because it was kind of a slow go. But she said, "What else am I going to do? This is working."
He called me a slow loser.
You're slow. Hey,
You called me that too.
but you know what? In all sincerity, even if you're just creeping along, you know what? You're creeping the right direction. You're creeping closer and closer to feeling better every day, even if you're creeping along. Because nobody gets unhealthy overnight. So even if you're just inching your way, because if you get off of it, what else are you going to do? Because if you go off the program, you're going right back to what you did before. And again, what's going to happen is you're going to be like, I can do this on my own. I've done it before. Or I can, you know what I mean? You'll say, I've lost weight before. I can do it by eating lots of grapefruits and bacon or whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of different things you can do. But when it comes down to this program, and here's the thing that people need to understand is we have thousands and thousands upon thousands of people who do amazing on this program. People who follow the program, it might be slow at 10 pounds in 6 weeks, but it's going to work. If you do the program, it works. And again, this is one of the things where a health coach and the support really comes into play, because there may be little tweaks that need to be adjusted here and there for people. If you're a super active person, if you're working night shift, 12-hour shifts, you're going to probably eat more than 5 and 1. You're going to need to eat 5 and 2, or 6 and 2, or 7 and 2, or 7 at what. You might need to adjust things a little bit and find that happy spot where you feel good, where the scale's moving, where everything's going the right direction. So just remember that, and because this is why it's important for you to connect with good support and a good health coach, is because there will be days when you just want to say, I'm done with this. It's not worth it. And in the beginning, there's probably going to be more of those days than there's not. You're going to want to say, I'm out of here. This is too hard. It's not worth the effort. I'm always the one missing out. Everyone else is, indulging, whatever. But that's really not what matters. It's about getting, just keep inching your way along.
One other thought I had, and one of the reasons I appreciate these classes so much, is the whole Habits of Health system also acted for me as a support system, where my coach could point me to the right things or say, why don't you read this chapter? But still, even though I've been in maintenance for 3 years now, like you said, this won't stop being an issue, because I'm the one that got myself into the problem in the
Sure.
first place. So I could get myself back there really quickly. And so just being able to tap into the information and going back through the book or coming to classes, but to continue to feed my mind that information so that I'm not losing sight of my good new habits. So that is key for me to continue to be in the material.
Well, and you know something, and you bring up a good point also, is this is a very positive environment. Okay, if you're in a rough spot and you're trying to do good things, isn't it a good thing to be in a positive environment where people understand and support and you feel like you're growing? Okay, and the same, because here's what happens when you do have that, you know, bad, sometimes very awful things happen. You know, my sister, I have a cousin whose niece just got in a really bad car wreck. A drunk driver hit her, and she's got to go in for surgery today, I think, and get her pelvis all pinned back together. And she was busted up good. Bad things happen, and there's a lot of things. I mean, some people get killed. Things happen, and that can really throw your life into a tailspin. If you're not in a positive, supportive place, what are you going to do? It's really easy to do the stuff that takes no choice at all, which is eat whatever you want, do whatever you want to do. Okay, that takes no effort at all. But when you make the effort and you make that choice, and even just showing up is a positive thing, showing the power. I mean, we all have tremendous power within us to be able to do amazing things. You look at, get on YouTube or watch TV, you'll see people do unbelievable things with their body, with their minds, with their talents, and it's just because they committed themselves. And this is no different. We have incredible power within us to not only change ourselves, but to be able to help change the people around us, and for a very good thing.
No, I think that it's important for all of us, and we kind of hit upon it, but that we, an extreme athlete, or those of us that are just trying to do a health journey, we have to practice every day. We have to keep refocusing every day, whether you have your health coach refocus you, or whether you plug into the support calls or this class or the book, then it's almost a daily thing, because an elite athlete does not just decide one day, well, I'm going to go work out, and then they're going to lay off for a couple of weeks because they go, yeah, that was a great workout, I got it, check. And you know what, but that's what we do. I do that with my health. I go, oh yeah, got it, check, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I might be good, possibly, some of us might be able to be good for a couple days without doing anything, but eventually it landslides, slowly or quickly. And that's an important thing. If we can connect, then an elite athlete is not going to just go work out and say, hey, that was a great workout, I'm good for a month. You can't do that, and we can't do that with our health as well, because it will landslide very, very quickly.
Well, you know, you bring to mind as you talk about that, we are super good at saying things like, "Oh, I'm better than that person," or "I'm not that bad," or you know what I mean. It makes us feel good at the moment, which hey, that's great, and it's easy to be like, "Yeah, I'm pretty fit, especially compared to that person." You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that we can't be better, and like you're saying. It does take continual effort. I tell you what, there's days after working out where I'm like, really? I do this to my body on purpose? I hurt so bad I can't hardly move. But, they tell me there's a method to the madness, and I'm believing them, but there's times when it takes a little bit of extra effort. And again, sometimes to go from, first place to third place or whatever we're talking such a minute difference, it's almost undetectable. So, that's what we're talking about, just doing a tiny bit more than you did yesterday. Continuing to try, making the decision. One of the things I think is the most important thing is just look, if you're not happy where you are, it's making the decision to say, all right, I don't like where I'm at, I'm going somewhere different. And not letting there be an option. Okay? If you stick around, you will get to where you want to be. You will be able to get to your health goals. If you want to, if running a marathon is the furthest thing from your mind, but you'd like to do it someday, just stick around and you can do it. It just takes time. It takes work, continual work. And then again, amazing things happen when you just keep moving along. So are there any other questions, concerns, questions with regard to the program? Not so much? All right, well, thank you so much for being here. Tap into your coaches. In fact, become very close. Become close to people in here. Become close to your coach. You know what? Those friendships make all the difference in helping you continue to move towards where you want to be. When you become very close to someone who is healthy and is doing, maybe doing things that you would like to do, man, stay close to them. Become friends with them. Do things with them. Because that's how you're going to learn, what are they doing that I'm not doing that I can start to do? You know what I mean? How do I become like that? And, I'm not saying become a stalker or anything like that, but, become friends with people who have similar or like interests. Don't hang out with the folks that are going to drag you down. Try and become closer to those people who are going to help lift you up. And remember, bring your friends, recruit people, bring them with you. You may not believe me, but it is a huge benefit to your success. The more people you get to join you in your journey, the more success you're going to have. And the more fun it becomes, because you see them, when you start to, make those mile marks, it feels pretty good. And when you see other people's lives change because you invited them to join you, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty rewarding and pretty satisfying feeling to be able to do that. So bring your friends. Come again next week, every Tuesday. We're lesson 11 next week. We'll be wrapping these up and starting from the top again here real soon. But keep coming out. Come out as long as you need to. If you miss something, just remember it's coming back around. We also do record them if you need to watch them online. But please continue to join us. If you have food that you would like to exchange, we typically do this out in the hall. If you didn't know we exchange food, just know that some of the things that you find vile, other people very much enjoy. So as surprising as that might be, it happens. So, and don't judge if they're liking something you don't. Just know that everyone's a little different, and know that you can trade food out here. And then in about 15 minutes, Tony, you're doing it, right? Yeah. We'll be doing the program presentation. If you have friends that you would like to introduce to this and get them to do it with you, bring them on Tuesdays, because right after this class, we always explain how the program works. To see, this program not everyone's going to say, yeah, that's for me. But you know what? A lot of people will. And a lot of people are just lost, looking like not knowing where to go next. So invite your friends, bring them out, and we'll all get healthy and happy together. So thank you for coming, and we will see you next week.